What's up guys, welcome back to today's video where we are talking all about sunscreen 101, sunblock 101, summer 101. The sun is out there, it is so powerful guys, and we do not want to get burned to a crisp this summer. So this video is all about sunscreen because I know sunscreen can be so confusing. All of those SPF labels out there can be very misleading and in fact are very misleading. We're going to talk all about UVA, UVB, broad spectrum, physical sunscreens, mineral sunscreens, synthetic sunscreens, sunscreen. I'm going to share with you how to read those sunscreen labels, exactly how much sunscreen to use, and uncover all of these sunscreen myths that I know you have. Before we go any further, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit subscribe or right down here guys. It's right next to that thumbs up button and that bell notification. Just give all three a click, make today a lot easier. If you're not new to my channel, welcome back. It's great to see you again. Leave me those comments down below guys. I love to hear from you. I love to talk to you. So without further ado, let's dive right into today's video. Sunscreen 101. Everything you need to know about sunscreen is going to be right here in this video. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video to find out my #1 sunscreen tip because you do not want to miss it. Let's do it. Alright guys, so I'm going to start this video off by saying the best form of sun protection obviously is staying out of the sun, seeking shade, wearing sun protective clothing, taking extra precaution around snow, water. All of these things can magnify UVA rays and really damage the skin. If you've been following my channel for a while now, you may know that I was actually addicted to tanning in my teens and my early 20s. I've actually done a whole story time video. I'll link it down below or in a card right around here. I was hands up addicted to tanning. I was brown as a coconut. Through my teens and my early 20s, not only did I never wear sunscreen or sunblock, but I also tanned in tanning beds. Sometimes I would go to a tanning bed in the morning and then I would go to the beach in the afternoon. Like double, triple, quadruple sun exposure. Why did I do that to myself? I also just want to say at the beginning of this video, if you have any itching, scratching, bleeding, bumps, moles, lumps, anything on your skin that's new or changing, see a dermatologist right away just to get it checked out. Okay, so let's just jump right into the ultraviolet rays. There are two types of ultraviolet rays that I'm sure you guys have heard of. One is UVA and the other is UVB. Now the easiest way that I find to remember this is that UVA is associated with ultraviolet aging. UVB is associated with ultraviolet burning. Now these two types of ultraviolet rays have two completely different functions. UVA penetrates deep into the skin and starts that early onset of premature aging. The worst kind of ray. Sun damage can take 20 to 30 years to show up. So these UVA rays penetrate deep into the skin. They lay their little egg of evilness to turn you wrinkly, sunspotty into like an old wrinkle doll. And then it just sits there and festers for 20 to 30 years until poof. And then one day you wake up in the future covered in sunspots and you think like, I haven't even been out in the sun. Where did these come from? Well, 20 to 30 years ago when you were laying out at the beach with no sunscreen, that is when those UVA rays gotcha. Run and tell that. Now those pesky UVB or ultraviolet burning rays are those pesky rays that are associated with burning. Now, I'm sure we've all had a sunburn before. If you've been down in Mexico, you're laying on the beach, or sometimes you're just walking outside and you come in and you think, oh my gosh, I got a total burn on my shoulders, I got a burn on my nose. Those are from those UVB rays. So you can imagine the combination of UVA and UVB rays, a combination that you do not want to see. Now, it's also so important for me to tell you guys that UVB cannot travel through a window, but UVA rays can. So if you're driving in your car, if you're a trucker, have you guys ever seen those pictures of truckers who one half of their face is totally morphed from the sun, the side that sits by the window, and the other half is really young and like looks like them, and then this half just like looks like the crypt keeper? Those are from those UVA rays traveling through the window, penetrating into the skin, causing that premature aging while you're not even outside under the sun. It's just through a window. I can't. I mean, the combination of UVA and UVB rays to a human body, I mean, that is just like the worst combination ever. And just so that you guys are aware, the sun is actually a labeled carcinogen to humans. That means that it's a known cancer-causing agent to the human body. I mean, wow. So when shopping for sunscreen, it's really important to look for that UVA, UVB broad spectrum protection. That way you're getting protected from all of the sun's rays. If you're a transportation driver out there, make sure that you're wearing sunscreen because you don't want half your face to look like the crypt keeper while the other half looks like beautiful you. Now I just quickly want to touch upon mineral versus synthetic or chemical sunscreen. I know you guys have probably heard a lot about mineral sunscreens, physical sunscreens, and which one is better. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the best sunscreen for you is one that you'll use over and over and over again. I know there's lots of research out out there on synthetic or chemical sunscreens. I'm even hesitant to say this, but disrupting your hormones in your body, as opposed to mineral or physical sunscreens that only contain either zinc or titanium dioxide. Now, one of the easiest ways to identify a mineral sunscreen is it normally has a bit more of a white cast than a synthetic or chemical sunscreen, and that's because the titanium or the zinc, when you apply it onto the skin, works as a reflector to reflect the light, the sun, back off your skin so that those UVA and UVB rays can't penetrate deep. Whereas chemical and synthetic sunscreens, yes, do deflect some light, but they also contain chemicals that absorb the light, those UVA, those UVB rays from the sun, and transfer them into heat and then disperse it on your skin. That's something that you can't feel, but that's actually happening on your skin when you use a synthetic or chemical sunscreen. Synthetic and chemical sunscreens also tend to be a little bit thinner, a little bit more water-based. They're also more water-resistant friendly and more waterproof. So normally if you find a water-resistant sunscreen or one made for swimming, those normally contain chemical ingredients. Now there are a few more things that you need to think about when using a synthetic sunscreen. These normally contain parabens, sulfates, dyes, fragrances. If you have sensitive skin, a synthetic or chemical sunscreen might not be for you because it can be a little bit more irritating. So I'm not going to make that choice for you whether mineral or synthetic sunscreens are better. That's kind of for you to decide. But at the end of the day, blocking out those UVA and UVB rays are great no matter which product you choose to use. Just make sure to choose one that's right for you. Okay, so let's jump right into what I think is the most important fact of this video, and that is how to read those SPF labels, those sun protection factor labels. Now these labels are so misleading, guys. I'm sure what you guys have heard, for example, say for an SPF 15 is that if you use that SPF 15, you can spend 15 times longer in the sun than you normally would without sunscreen before burning. Same as an SPF 30, you would think that you can spend 30 times longer in the sun before burning. This is something that the sunscreen companies have used to market all of those sunscreens and divide them into a million different products with SPF 15, 5, 50, 80, 100. I mean, these numbers are just crazy and they are not true. The SPF rating of a sunscreen is not regulated in any way. Companies individually test their SPF, and let me tell you what it really means. So yes, the SPF indicator is an indication of how long you can spend in the sun before you burn, but all sunscreens need to be reapplied at the 2-hour mark. Baseline, every sunscreen that you guys see in the sunscreen department in Walgreens, Walmart, all of those sunscreens protect you from the sun between 93 and 97%. None of them protect you more, none of them protect you less. They all protect you in that window of 93 to 97%. The SPF label is how long you can spend in the sun. So yes, the SPF label does indicate how much longer you can stay in the sun, but it kind of maxes out around that SPF 30 mark because every sunscreen needs to be reapplied 2 hours. It doesn't matter whether it's an SPF 100 or an SPF 15. All of those sunscreens max out, tap out at 2 hours and need to be reapplied. So if you're wearing an SPF 70 and you think that you can stay in the sun 70 times longer than it would when you normally start to burn, which is a rate at 10 minutes, just so you guys know, it takes 10 minutes for the skin to burn. For example, the SPF 15 would be SPF 15 times 10 or 150 minutes, which is just over 2 hours. Every sunscreen needs to be reapplied at the 2-hour mark without question. Now, it's also worth noting that the FDA does regulate that a sunscreen has a shelf life of 3 years. So if you have a sunscreen for up to 3 years, technically that product should be working up to 100% of its efficiency up until that 3-year mark. Some people say a sunscreen only lasts 1 year, but it actually lasts 3. Now next up, I'm going to show you guys something so shocking. I don't even think you're ready for this. Now I've always heard a million times that the proper amount of sunscreen to use is about a shot glass for your full body. And you think in your head, okay, I know how much a shot glass is. So you squeeze some in your hand, you go ahead, you do your whole lotion, your face, your potions, you're feeling great about yourself. You're feeling great about the sun protection. But I've just measured out an entire shot of sunscreen and I'm going to put this in the palm of my hand so you guys can see exactly how much sunscreen to use. You are going to be shook. This is just so crazy. Okay, so you should be using this amount of product every 2 hours. If you're on vacation or if you're on the beach, you guys, look at this. This is the proper amount of sunscreen that you need to be using. Okay, I'm such a klutz that almost dropped right out of my hand. This is the amount of sunscreen you need to be using every single day, you guys, over your entire body. This is the amount of sunscreen. I'm lost for words. I don't know about you guys, but growing up, I did not use this much sunscreen. This is so much. I mean, Now this amount of sunscreen does cover your entire body, guys, and you only need about a quarter size for your entire face, but make sure you're getting your nose, your ears. I'm not going to apply this all because this is so much sunscreen and I'm actually not going outside today. So my biggest tip for sunscreen application and sunscreen reapplication, guys, is in the morning, start off by using that full shot glass over your entire body. Now this is especially important for days that you spend at the beach or days that you're spending prolonged time in the sun. Then my sunscreen hack for reapplication is an aerosol spray. Now guys, an aerosol sunscreen is so easy, so convenient, but the spray doesn't provide enough full coverage like the traditional sunscreen does. So it's so important to have that base coat and then just use your aerosol as a touch-up every 2 hours that you're at the beach. Just cover the skin. And another downside to aerosol sunscreen, guys, is they are not safe to breathe in. So make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. I know a lot of people use these sunscreen sprays in their bathroom or their house where you inhale all of those tiny particles. They are not safe to breathe in. Even on the back of the sunscreen container, it says not to breathe it in, that it is not safe. But I mean, how do you avoid not breathing in an aerosol spray, especially when you're spraying it all around your head, even sometimes on your face? I mean, that is just dangerous. And another great tip, guys, is don't forget the lip area. Lips are a very common place for skin cancer to occur, so make sure you're using a lip chap, especially on the days that you're at the beach with an SPF. And that, guys, is a wrap on my Sunscreen 101, everything you need to know about sunscreen. Hopefully you guys learned a couple tips, tricks, and some more information to make an informed decision on purchasing SPF, sunblock, sunscreen, mineral sunscreens, physical sunscreens, synthetic, chemical. I mean, there's just so much information out there on sunscreen. Hopefully this video was able to clarify a couple of things for you to make the important decision of protecting yourself against the sun. Not only does the sun cause skin cancer and sunburns, it also causes premature aging. Remember, 20 to 30 years down the road. So right now you think that you're having that beautiful bronze moment looking like Paris Hilton, when really in 20 to 30 years, you, honey, are gonna look like the Crypt Keeper. If you have any favorite sunscreens, let me know in the comments down below, guys, or if you have any tips and tricks to being sun safe, let me know. And if you want to keep hanging out with me, you can watch more videos right here. And guys, don't forget to subscribe right here. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. And until the next video, I can't wait to see you then. Bye, guys.